Episode 2, She Gave Birth to Snake. 15 years had passed since the night lightning swallowed Amaka and her serpent child. In a bustling town called Umuaku, far from the edge of the forest where legends lived, a young man named Chisholm had a strange dream. In it, he stood on a burning field. A massive serpent, golden and glowing, slithered toward him. But just before it struck, it transformed, its scales melting into brown skin, its fangs turning to teeth, its eyes, human. The young man in the dream looked just like Chisholm. "You are not alone," the figure said. "I am Abenwan, and I am coming." Chisholm woke up sweating. That same week, goats began disappearing in the nearby villages. Trees bent without wind. Children reported hearing songs in the forest, and some swore they saw a glowing serpent watching from the shadows. But no one believed them. Except the elders. They knew. The serpent child had returned. Before we continue, please like, comment, share and follow me. Deep in the forest, beneath the sacred tree, Abenwan coiled beneath moonlight, his massive body gleaming like polished gold. He was no longer an ordinary snake, he had grown to the length of 3 men, his head wider than a man's chest, with ancient symbols etched along his scales. But within him stirred a hunger, not for flesh, but for purpose. He remembered his mother's soft hands. Her tears. Her voice telling him he was not a monster. That he was born of love, not shame. One night, during the eclipse, the river woman returned, the same spirit who had given Amaka the gourd all those years ago. "It is time," she said. "The world that rejected you must now face you. You were not made for hiding. You were made to heal, to judge, and to remind them, the divine is not always beautiful." "But I am not a man," Abenwan hissed. "You are what your soul chooses to become," she whispered. She reached out, touched his head. And in a painful blaze of blue fire, the serpent's body split and cracked. When the light faded, Abenwan stood on 2 legs. A man. Tall, radiant, with golden eyes and a mark of a serpent coiled on his chest. He had transformed. Please click on the follow button before we continue. Abenwan disguised himself as a traveler and entered Umuaku, a town plagued by sickness, drought, and corruption. He saw men of God exploiting widows. Chiefs stealing land. Girls disappearing without a trace. Children with swollen bellies begging for scraps. He spoke little. Observed much. At night, he healed secretly. A child with dying lungs? Breathed again. A blind farmer? Saw the stars. A girl cursed with madness? Spoke clearly after touching his hand. The town began to whisper about a mysterious healer. Some called him Oga Marinwa, the water messenger. Others simply said he glows in the dark. But Pastor Elijah, now a famous prophet with 3 churches and 10 SUVs, recognized him. "That's the demon child," he screamed during a crusade. "He has come to finish what his witch mother started." Fear spread like wildfire. But Abenwan did not run. Please like, comment, share and follow. The town elders, led by Pastor Elijah, captured Abenwan. They accused him of sorcery, deception, and being the snake child of abomination. He was tied to a wooden stake in the village square, soaked in kerosene, surrounded by a bloodthirsty crowd. "Burn him!" Elijah shouted. "Burn the demon! Let fire purify this land." A torch was raised. But before it touched the firewood, the skies darkened. Thunder rolled. Rain poured in sheets so thick it was like the heavens wept. And as lightning split the sky, a voice thundered, not human, not animal. It was Amaka's voice. "You tried to destroy what you feared. But what you fear was a gift." The wood turned to dust. The ropes untied themselves. Abenwan stepped forward, glowing, soaked in rain, but untouched by fire. He looked into the eyes of the prophet. "You preach fear. But I was born from love." He stretched out his hand. And Pastor Elijah collapsed. When they checked his pulse, he was alive. But blind. From that day, he never walked or spoke again. Before we continue, please click on the follow button. Abenwan gathered the villagers. I was born a serpent because the world needed to remember that power is not always human in form. My mother loved me when no one else would. She raised me in exile so that I would one day return not with revenge, but with truth. He touched the soil. Crops began to sprout within seconds. He laid his hand on a stream. It cleared and flowed with sweetness. He kissed a newborn child. The child giggled and glowed briefly. Your land is healed, he said. But you must learn to see with your souls, not just your eyes. He then walked into the forest. Before we continue, please click on the follow button. Some say Abenwan still roams the earth, neither man nor beast, but something greater. A guardian. A reminder that divinity doesn't always come in expected forms. A statue now stands in Amuako's square, half man, half serpent. At its base, it reads, "Born not to destroy, but to reveal." The child you feared became the man who healed. And once every year, women struggling with fertility walk barefoot into the forest. Many return with round bellies and dreams of golden eyes. Abenwan lives on, not just in legend, but in legacy. Moral. Sometimes, what the world fears most is what it needs to heal. True divinity hides in the unexpected, and love can transform even the most feared into the most powerful. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and follow me for more stories. Bye for now.